are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights here at Summit Point Raceway. Jesus Christ, they went out fast. It's Donny howled out for Henriksen. He gained 12 places. Look at this battle round turn 1. Charles Rayford sends it up the inside to take the lead. Andy Fox is going to try and hold it around the outside. Jared Kaler's got the inside. Just with Germany makes it through the middle. Henry Morse takes the win. We got Charles Rayford taking the win. Stephen King weaves down the straight and across the line. Donny Alpha Henriksen half a second clear. Here they go. Can Kieran break late and hold that inside line? There, is he going to have the inside? He tags Ray round and there's a big crash up the front. Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to the Racing Line here on YouTube and Twitch, and of course over on VCO Esports as well on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. I could see you all. There's a couple of people in chat already over on Twitch. Sway London says hello to everyone. Comgar MTG says boa tarde. Hello, hello, hello. We are here for round 9 out of 10. Can we believe it? Cacalus is finally a proper full racetrack. It's only taken us 9 out of 10 rounds. I mean, come on now. UK Pete 007 says, evening everyone. You can agree with me, UK Pete, that Donington is a proper circuit. There's been a nice mix of long and short circuits throughout the calendar. But yes, we are at a decent circuit here at Road Atlanta. One of my personal favourites, actually. And it was... for can you believe, only the second time this season we are visiting a track that we have been to before. Season 1, which seems oh so long ago now, we visited Road Atlanta Full before, and I will give you a quick breakdown on, of course, how that went. And, of course, our finale next week was the finale of last season as well, which is Watkins Glen Cup. 2 rounds to go. Where are we at? Let's get rid of that big old screen and see what's happening in practice as per usual. How long is left of practice? We got a good amount of time to catch up on stuff. This is good. I can see you all in chat at the moment. Twitch is holding up. Twitch is holding up the stand at the moment. YouTube, Racing Line YouTube viewers and VCO Esports, come on, get yourselves in and say hello. As you can see on your screens, we got 28 drivers out there at the moment, with just over 10 minutes of practice left of their 45 minutes before we go into qualifying and 2 very intense races. One around 15 minutes and the other around 25, with of course a pit stop and a reverse top 12. If you don't know how it works by now, where have you been all this time? Things have changed since I last looked at the practice times whilst I was setting everything up for you guys. Burkhardt now the fastest with a 1:36.3. Cranston right behind, 1/10 behind him, with Ray Oliver showing his pace with only a 10th behind them, only a 100th behind Jake Cranston, but unfortunately for Ray Oliver, he has accrued enough penalty points throughout the season to receive a quali ban. So he will be sitting out in qualifying and seeing how far he can climb up that order today at potentially one of his best race circuits. Gook008 says, let's go Sam Van Olst on Twitch. Kakala says Donington was national layout, so not quite full, but it was a decent length circuit, of course. Salty Gent says, what am I watching at? You are watching, you are watching the best car on iRacing. Nominated best car on iRacing. That's not even a lie. Nominated best car on iRacing on the VCO Simi Awards. Volkswagen Jetta Cup. That's 5. There's 5 cars in that category. You need to go over to the VCO Simi Awards, actually, and get your votes in. You need to get that Jetta up there. Some people are going to do it for the memes. We don't mind, as long as it gets voted best car. Of course, it is competing with Ferrari 488s, BMW M4s and such. But, you know, I think we've got a good shot. And, of course, our very talented photographer, Iku. I still don't fully know the pronunciation of that, and I apologise, but known to you all in chat as Kakala. So, yeah, vote those 2 things. Everyone else, vote for what you want, of course. Where are we in chat? I need to catch up. Let's go. Morgan says Sway London. Good luck all. I'm repping the scales here, loud and proud. First was closest version. I've lost what we're talking about. We need to crack on. We need to crack on. Right. Let's have a look at where we've been. We were talking about circuits with Kakula in chat. Round 1, 2, and 3. 2 rounds in Japan and Australia. Oran Park GP's a full circuit. Come on. Okayama was the short layout. Tsukuba's a small layout. Red Bull Ring was half of the Red Bull Ring. Monza Junior, Alton Park and Donington Park were kind of big tracks. Lime Rock Park was a short one. Road Atlanta, here we are. And Watkins Glen is a big slipstream fest on its way. Stephen King is up there in P4 with Greg Otley looking for a good round by the looks of it in P5 in practice. He's shown flashes of pace as the independent driver, number 93. But hasn't quite capitalised. Well, he's got a couple of top 10 finishes, I believe, this season, which is no mean feat with a grid this strong. Let's not snuff that out, because definitely some strong results. As has Andre Majorek, I think, deserves a quick shout out. Where is he currently in the order? He's currently down in 16th, but has shown, again, some flashes of pace and has finished in that top 10 a few times. Obviously, very close grid, although now that we're on a proper circuit, as we say, with many corners, we said this at Alton Park, a driver's circuit, going to show the differences in speed between some drivers, and the gap should be bigger. We expected everybody to spread out a bit more. When most races, everyone's kind of been within a second down to 28th place, which has been mad. Is that going to be the same in qualifying today? Can we get 28 drivers within a second at Road Atlanta? I'll be very impressed if that is the way it goes. Last time out, Masters of Talk had an absolutely cracking round. Your team standings look like this with 2 rounds to go. Masters of Talk Motorsport, 837 points to Pulsus Esports, last season's champions, with 624, with an absolute lull of pace. With only one driver really carrying the flag, with Henry Morse kind of having issues, not always in his own fault, and Joshua Germany just sort of having the worst luck of the 3, and the gap between those two is 213 points. If Pulsus want to take this to the final round, they need to outscore Masters of Talk by 18 points today, or Masters of Talk Motorsport have clinched it, and I'm sure if they do manage to do that, then we'll see some celebrations. Alexiu has commented on YouTube, although I can't... Do you know what this doesn't do? It doesn't tell me which YouTube you're on, but I am going to... Well, we'll just say hello to both YouTubes. Let's just say if you're on VCO Esports or the Racing Line, hello to Alexiu. He says, yo, why is no one here? Get in chat and keep him some company. All the Twitchers are commenting. Go Henry Morse Racing, we've had by Ben Morse, as usual, supporting... well, they got the same surname, so I'm guessing a relative. Back to the constructors order. Win It or Bin It Racing, though. Let's talk about them. The gap between them and the top 2 was big enough for us to write them off pretty early, and as it being a top 2 battle, a midfield battle of 4, and then a bottom 2 battle. That's been thrown right out the window. Win It or Bin It have had a surge in the second half of the season, and the points gap is now 35 points to Pulsus Esports in P2. Now, I think Stephen King done the maths earlier. A team could potentially get, if they scored maximum points, 195 points. I mean, we're never going to see that, but that is the maximum. So, well, anything could happen. Win It or Bin It are well within a chance. And let's not rule out Zero Forks Given, who are currently in 4th, but not that far behind Win It or Bin It Racing. Down Under Sim Esports, you've got to say, might be a bit of a stretch down there in P5, but they got some strong drivers with some strong pace. Austin Farr currently down in 21st, but he has been rapid all season. Ray Oliver hoping to carry the team today, but of course starting last after his quali ban. ORD Racing, 326 points. They've been quiet this season, actually. A couple of bad and unlucky rounds. It's got to be said. I mean, Ryan Smith, he's had some fuel issues all throughout the season. Christopher Smith, as usual, has been collected in a number of incidents. Not through any fault of his own, I might add. And of course, Dan Thornton just scraping, trying to beat Mr. Weiswanger at the bottom end of the pile in 30th place. Lurchus Gaming Team. That should be, actually, I've just realised, that should be the other way round. Lurchus Gaming Team are now in 8th place, because Meatball Motorsport passed them last time out, so I'm guessing the points are correct, but those teams should be the other way round. But Meatball Motorsport being carried by Kieran Dempsey, who's currently in 15th place. And Jan Weiswanger just getting every point he can, with the potential return of Sebastian Hallmichael tonight if he is free, making it a 3-car team again. We have Amundere on the grid. That makes 29 drivers. We might see 30. Who knows? Sway London says ZFG, get in there with some points this week. You got this. What's good? Vatu says Tuinheck on Twitch. Twitch is lighting up this chat screen. Come on, YouTube. I can see you watching, both on the Racing Line and VCO Esports. We need to give a quick shout out, of course. We haven't mentioned them yet. This is the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega. Why is it powered by GT Omega? Because your winner of this season, who is currently... well, your current championship leader is Mr. Jake Cranston, who's sitting there in P2 in practice. He will, currently, if it ends like this, win himself a brand new, shiny GT Omega cockpit. And you're probably thinking, well, he's so fast, he's probably got a decent setup, right? I can tell you right now that Jake Cranston drives at an office desk on a wheelie chair with some trainers on it to stop it from rolling around. How mad is that? And actually, quite a few of the top drivers are driving on some, let's say, budget setups. That is a very quick time from one of the Smiths. That's Ryan Smith of ORD Racing. We mentioned him having bad luck, and he's just popped it in P2 by 200ths of a second, slotting in between Burkhardt and Cranston. What a cracking effort there. But your championship standings from the drivers then. So, Jake Cranston absolutely pulled out the drive that he needed last time out in Lime Rock. We entered the American phase with 12 points between him and Morgan Burkhardt. And then Jake Cranston pulls out a double win while Morgan gets stranded with a feature race he did not want. Well, it's a strong race. He went up to 3rd, back down to 16th, back up to the podium, and back down again. It was really roller coaster, but now look at the points. It is 52 points between 1st and 2nd with a max of 76, I believe, for maximum points. But it's not over yet, and that will go to the final round if both of those finish close together at the top end. But Morgan is definitely hoping that something is going to happen to Jake today. 2nd and 3rd, though, is pretty close still. 37 points between Morgan and Stephen King. Last year's antagonist, whatever you want to call him, Pulsar Esports, Stephen King, finishing 2nd last season, currently in 3rd, with Morgan Burkhardt having a late surge of form. I've just realised what we haven't done. We can hide that now. It's time for your favourite part, viewers, your favourite part, all 3 of you, TRL, Racing Line, Twitch, VCO Esports. It's time for the flight path. We all love this. Here we go. This is where we've been. This is where we're going. So, we were in Connecticut for Lime Rock Park, and we're driving down in our little minibus all the way down to, you've guessed it, Atlanta for Road Atlanta. So, a little bit of a drive. And there we are, just north of I'm guessing the capital of Atlanta is Atlanta. I really should have done my geography homework. Mr. Bailiff knows about geography. Maybe he could help me. As Jake Cranston slots back in between Morgan Burkhardt and Ryan Smith. Look at the times just changing away up there. Madness. Flying in a bus, says Tuinheck. Nice. Hola, desde Argentina. From Argentina, says Juan Pablo Leño Verde. Let's go for. Ellen Brown says my trainers as well, talking about Jake Cranston's little office chair. Oh, excuse me. Capital of Georgia, you mean? Ah, Brian Ringle. He's got the geography knowledge. That's what I need in my chat. Thank you for joining on YouTube. Right, here is what we need as well. Our track map. There's only 2 minutes left of practice. Road Atlanta, USA, 4.08 kilometers, 2.54 miles with 4 sectors in total. A number of corners, 2 main overtaking zones really, into turn 6 at the top end of the double right-hander, and of course the chicane after that beefy slipstream straight, which is where the speed trap is. 12 turns in total. The S section, established in 1970, this circuit, but the S section tricky to race on, but there are plenty of overtaking and racing opportunities. We saw some very close fighting last season. Speaking of last season, I don't know if this is an omen or not, but I know who is going to be raring to go for this race, and that is, we haven't seen this this graphic in a while because this is only the second time this season, I've already said, only the second time this season that we've returned to a circuit that we've been to before. But look who is the previous winners from Season 1. Previous wins, America, Road Atlanta Full, Season 1 Feature and Season 1 Sprint. Jake Cranston, a double win. Just like in Lime Rock last time out. We didn't think we were going to see a double win this time round in Season 2. But he's done it. And is he going to aim to do it again? Can he get a 100% win record at Road Atlanta? Because that would be fairly impressive. Well, we all know it'll be really impressive, to be fair. Now, it looks like qualifying is about to begin. It's going to tick over any second now. As the timer's still ticking on. There we go. So, we're still on Scenic Cam right now. We're going to wait for the drivers to... Oh, we don't want to replay. Come on, we don't want to replay. Let's have a look at these drivers coming out. There they all are. Ryan Smith is straight out on circuit as we see them filtering out onto turn 1. The Cranston can only lose now, says Two and Heck. Well, he's got a lot to lose. He is the one on top. What was I going to say then? The pit lane exit here is fairly... how can we put it? Fairly dangerous, actually. Just because of... It exits onto the racing line, realistically, into turn 1. We've got a few people, by the looks of it, still waiting in the pits. And it is the win it or bin it, boys. Now, that is a smart call from these lot. Racing for P2 in the Constructors, or the Teams Championship. And here they are. Going out together in free air. Down the S's. Well, there's 2 of them. Dan Blake's a little bit further behind. I wonder if he's going to catch him up on the outlap. But John Bailiff and Andy Fox sticking close together, wanting to get that slipstream. We do love a drone cam recently, don't we? Here they come out of the exit of turn 5, that is. Still back to back. Only an outlap for these two. 8 minutes to get their fastest lap in. Just enjoying the scenery of these cameras at the moment. As they turn into 6 and 7. In fact, shall we go on board? I don't think we've done it this season yet. Let's go on board with Mr. Andy Fox for his timed lap. Sway London has jumped in chat to say, let's go, Bob. As we see the times start coming up at the bottom now. We're looking, so green sectors are, of course, personal bests. Purple are fastest of anyone. Orange is not as quick as before. And I think that's pretty much it. Good weather for it, says Salty Gent. Well, there's no rain yet in iRacing, so we know for sure that it's not going to rain. The sun is going down, though, which is a little bit worrying. Tiddly Spring says, good luck, everyone, but especially Greg Otley on YouTube. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, the sun looks like it's going down fairly early, which means... I mean, maybe the timings are a little bit iffy, but it might be nighttime by the time these races are finished. As Andy Fox goes wide there into turn 3, I believe that is, the apex of turn 3. Continuing down the S's now. John Bailiff starting to pull away. So Andy won't be happy with that, as he's going to bounce over this curb, and then you can use all of this, including the gravel, but that might be a 1x. Slowly come back over to the left. Down this dip, looking for that 200-meter board, all the white lines up ahead. What gear is Andy going to use? He's going to go down into 5th to turn into that apex. Careful of the understeer. Back on the brakes. Keep it in 4th, or is he going to go down to 3rd? Keeps it in 4th, you know, to get as much traction as he can on that exit onto the back straight. And now this is where the slipstream of John Bailiff will help him out. As they go down this back straight now. Your first times on the board. Ryan Smith takes pole at the moment. Jameson Huffman is in P2, just 2.5 tenths behind. All the times are going to start flashing up now, because look at the big train on the track map in your top right. Two and Hack says, I'm going to be lurking and watching you guys on the TV. Hup, Alex, Hup. Celebrating Alex. Look at Dan Blake with purple sectors everywhere. Is this a masterstroke for Win It or Bin It? Dan Blake currently behind Andy Fox. There he is. Look at the slipstream that he's got. This is on the rear wing of Andy Fox. Where's Dan Blake going to be? He's purple at the moment everywhere, and he slots in. I don't know why he's purple everywhere, because he only slots in P6, which purple everywhere would have meant pole, but that's a weird little graphic if that hasn't worked properly. But look who is your current pole position sitter. I believe it is the independent driver of Andre Majorek. The purple car there, number 44 in the background. Whereabouts are these guys? Turn 5 and 6. So he is in a right slipstream chain right now. a slipstream train of about 10 cars. They've been warned against. We saw a lot of qualifying issues in previous rounds of people sort of moving over at the last second because they didn't want to give slipstream to the car behind, which is fair. They don't want to give slipstream to their competitors, but it was getting a bit messy on track with where people were moving over. Some people were on hot laps that wanted to finish them, and people were getting blocked. We've seen it a couple times. As you can hear contact there, that would have been Dan Downing into the back of Van Olst. And of course, they're all trying to get a lap time. And if you get a 0x, look at Dan moving straight out the way of Andre there as Cranston takes pole from a 10th.5 off of Stephen King. But where is Andre Mayerek going to be? He was fastest. Is he going to improve? Henry Morse slots into P3. That's good for Pulses, but you've got one Masters of Talk on pole, and the other in P5 is Kieran Dempsey. Slots in to P4 for Meatball Motorsport. Where is Jerry Agar? Down in 18th currently, 9/10 down. Could you imagine? I mean, well, we said it wasn't going to be as close today, but at the same time, if you're half a second off, you're down in 10th place. That's a lot of cars to pass around this circuit, as Dan Blake's showing up some purples again. But where is Dan Blake on the order? Number 127, the red 127. He's currently 16th, 9/10 off of pole. It looks like we've got 30 drivers today. So someone extra has turned up. That will be... Oh, there's a big crash back there. That's what we didn't want to see. Should we have a look at a replay of that? What happened there? That could be investigated, you know. Qualifying does get investigated sometimes. This is Duncan trying to stay out the way through the S's. Difficult place to stay out the way, for sure. It looks like he's done all right there, actually. I mean, he's done the best he could. That won't be any issues. But Dan Downing just slams on the brakes in front of him. So that is not Duncan's fault. That would be... I mean, Duncan wasn't on a lap, but I'm sure it will get mentioned in the steward's room anyway as a potential warning for Mr. Downing. Luckily, these aren't real cars. So otherwise, I've got a feeling Dan Downing might have been making a trip to the medical room after slamming on his brakes on a straight, which we wouldn't see in real life racing. Let's not forget, some of these drivers have no... Well, actually, I don't know how to say this in the tone of my voice with 1 minute left to qualify. Some of these drivers have no real-world experience, was what I was going to say. But should we be shocked at some of them not having real-world experience? Or should we be impressed that actually a number of these Jetta Cup drivers do have real-world experience? I'm not going to try and list them all now, because I will definitely forget which ones have and which ones haven't. Because there are a lot of drivers out there. But yeah, it's impressive to see the difference of culture that we've brought together here in Season 2 of the Jetta Cup. It's been absolutely close all the way through, and here we are with 2 rounds to go and a second separating the top 23 drivers. Salty Gent says to have no driving license. I don't think any of them don't have it. Ah, wait, that's a lie. One of them definitely doesn't have a driving license, and that is Mr. Ryan Smith sat in the pits because he is 14 years old. Kakula says, where's our Oval Master? We do have an Oval Master nominated here in the Jetta Cup. You may have heard, again, in the VCO Simi Awards. Go over and vote. Jetta Cup, not Jetta Cup, Jetta TDI Cup, best car. And Austin Farr, best oval racer. Iku, best photographer. Let's get the grid done. It is time for that grid. Jake Cranston then takes your pole position. 1/10 from Stephen King. Henry Morse right behind. John Bailiff ends off the second row. Kieran Dempsey, Donny Henriksen, Andre Mayerek, Ryan Smith, Dan Downing, Morgan Burkhardt, Carl Ridley and Jameson Huffman round off your top 12. Duncan Murray, Ika Lequay, Austin... that rhymed. Austin Farr, Chris Smith, Greg Otley, Jared Kaler, Dan Blake, Joshua Germany round off your top 20. Jerry Agard, Alex Mandervalder, Sam Van Olst, Dan Thornton, Jesus Amundre, Martin Wallace, Christian Ribeiro, Andy Fox, Jan Weiswanger and Ray Oliver rounding off your grid. That is pretty much everyone as we go on to... That's not the best starting cam because you can't see Jake Cranston on pole position. We need to change this to interval so we can see the gap between drivers. We're just waiting for everybody to get on the grid now. In fact, let's just try this camera because it looks quite interesting, but we can't see Jake Cranston's start. Who are we waiting for? Look at them all curve round the uphill on the grid. There's so many of them, and their headlights are on already, meaning that the feature race is definitely more than likely going to be dark. The sun is going to be setting during this race. Let's see what these cars look like at night. Can they see where they're going? We will sure find out. Aleki says oval races are the best races. Jesper Greaves says Donny easy win. Donny is currently in P6, so let's see what he can do. John Bailiff, P4. Is he going to get the pulses, boys? Remember, Win It or Bin It are fighting pulses for the constructors, as are Masters of Talk. We're waiting for the drivers to come in. There's 15 seconds left on the timer. Is everyone on the grid? Where are the lights? Oh, that's a better... There we go. That's a better start. If you were a betting man, who's your money on? If you're asking me, Salty Gent, I mean, the easy bet, although the odds might be low as he was a double winner last season, would be your pole man and championship leader, Jake Cranston. As the lights come on, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Ray Oliver has to do a pit lane start for the penalty, and away they go. And Jake Cranston gets a decent start, as does Stephen King. It looks pretty even between the two drivers as they come filtering down. And now look, as here's, wow, look at that for a camera shot as they all come on with their headlights down towards turn 1. And Stephen King looks like he's going to try and go around the outside of turn 1 on lap 1, which is going to give him the inside to turn 2, but it's going to have the outside of turn 3. Can Stephen King get past Jake Cranston as Kieran Dempsey's round, Donny Henriksen's off, and Stephen King round the outside of turn 3 as Henriksen tumbles down the order, takes the lead of your sprint race with Henry Morse there in P3. That was a big crash that we're going to have to analyse at some point, but what a move at the start from Stephen King. An important one for the constructors and potentially the championship as John Bailiff now sits there in P4 behind Henry Morse. Andre Majorek looks like he's got a slowdown from avoiding the accident, and Cranston's coming back up the inside of turn 5 already, looking desperate, and Henry Morse is going to have a run around the outside of turn 7. Can he get that done? He's put his car there, he's still there. Jake Cranston shuts him off. That was the Max Verstappen move from Brazil. He wasn't letting that go as they all come filtering down now. Well, what's the best camera for this little area? I don't really know, but top 4 are nose to tail. I can't really take my eyes off. I know there's battles all over the place. I think one of the surprises for me there is Ike Lequay nearly in the top 10. He's having a cracking race. They're always up for points. Alertus Gaming. Gregory Otley's in the pit, so he was involved in that first crash. Jake Cranston up the inside of the chicane. Henry Morse up the inside of Jake. Oh dear, it got very close. He's actually ended up potentially costing his teammate the lead there with that send. I don't know if he just tried braking as late as he dares, but now Stephen King goes from first to third with John Bailiff round his outside. Henry Morse chasing down your race leader, Jake Cranston. Look at this. Has he got the inside for turn 1? Bailiff comes to the inside, defended from Ryan Smith, who's got rapid pace here at Road Atlanta. And Henry Morse up the inside of turn 1. Side by side they go. Doesn't run him off, but can he hold it for the inside of turn 3? Through they go. Jake Cranston does what Stephen King did and takes the lead of your sprint race. Oh, there's too much going on that timer. Let's get rid of the time so that we can just see the laps. 2 out of 8 laps down. Jake Cranston retakes the lead. Henry Morse and Stephen King in second and third. John Bailiff is being chased down by second place man Morgan Burkhardt in the championship as Ike Lequay and Jared Kaler are going side by side through the S's. Jared looking like he gained that position. Now Ike's going to have a slow run as they all start pushing themselves through this back straight down towards 6 and 7. Are they 3 wide? No, but they go 2 by 2. Joshua Germany on the outside of Ike Lequay. 3 wide into the right-hander. Contact was inevitably going to happen, but Ike Lequay survives, as does Chris Smith. Oh, I say that and I've jinxed him because someone has made contact with someone, and there is Chris Smith going off. I knew he was going to be involved, not because it's Chris Smith's fault, but because he's just had the worst luck this season. Jesus Amundere and Martin Wallace are your... Well, this is all for the final points positions in P19 and 20. I've got Dan Blake showing up as a crash here as Henry Morse is piling on the pressure for Jake Cranston down into the chicane. He's going to try and go around the outside. Is Henry Morse going to have the inside for the next apex? He might do. Jake Cranston gives him just about enough room, and that is going to ruin the run for Henry Morse, and Stephen King's going to come through and teammates be teammates. He's going to let him have that, I think, and Morse is going to slot him back behind in P3 and try and block John Bailiff off, who is going to have the inside, and Morgan Burkhardt is absolutely getting fed up of sitting there as Ike Lequay comes into the pits. That will be an unfortunate meatball after having a hell of a start and a great sprint race, and John Bailiff moves up into P3 and Morgan Burkhardt's coming through as well. And that is what happens when you try and attempt a move on the chicane and it doesn't come off as Morgan Burkhardt slots into P4. Now Henry Morse is under pressure from Ryan Smith, our youngest driver on the grid, number 66 for ORD. Dan Downing's trying to get involved. And that's another Zero Forks giving car. That's Jameson Huffman, who doesn't often show up for practice, but here he is in P8, running decent points for Zero Forks giving. This is really going to mix up the order, and it's going to be hell for me to try and work out on the fly. But even Joshua Germany is having decent points right now. He's on for reverse grid pole there in P12. Alexander van der Velde won't want to see that slip away from him. He's down here in P13, being chased down by Andre Mayerek, Duncan Murray, Jesus Mundere, and Martin Wallace for Zero Forks giving also in the points. 3 Zero Forks giving cars in the points, 2 Win It or Bin It cars. Jan Weisbanger is 1 position away from scoring some more points, but who is ahead of him? It's Dan Thornton for ORD. He is fighting Jan Weisbanger for 30th place in the championship. So don't tell me that they're not fighting for anything, because there's only 2 points that separate those 2 drivers for 30th place. And at the moment, Dan Thornton is getting 1 of those points that he needs. If this was the feature, he'd be getting 2. As I see some drivers swapping around at the top, that's Henry Morse and Ryan Smith going side by side. I don't even know where this is on the track map. It's into the final corner. Henry Morse is on the outside. It's a dodgy place to be, and Dan Downing's going to try and take advantage. He can't run too wide on the exit of 12. Ryan Smith does, though. Takes that position and up into P5. Morse is having an absolute mare. But I'll tell you who is looking to gain another sprint race win. Is he going to just sit there and wait for the opportune moment as Austin Farr and Jameson Huffman, the 2 Americans, going at it for Down Under Sim Esports and Zero Forks Giving Racing. Now, Down Under Sim Esports, we've got 2 drivers there. There's Kyle Ridley fending off Jared Kaler for P10 and 11. Jesus Christ, I've seen Lando Norris' sister riding a horse last week in Spain, says Salty Jen. That's nothing to do with what we're seeing on track, as I see Henriksen in the pits. I think he's out of this race, as is Christian Ribeiro for Lurchers Gaming. That would have been with whatever happened at the start. I can't really cut away because I feel like there's battles all over the place, but we need to find out what happened at the start. So let us have a look and see if I can find it. It was Kieran Dempsey that was involved, but where is the question, as we see the Down Under Sim Esports cars getting very close on the exit. Side by side, down the back straight they go. And Joshua Germany looking to gain more positions. He's still currently in 12th place. How many is he going to gain here? Joshua Germany in the Pulsar Esports car. He's making it 3 wide back there. They're going to go into the chicane 3 wide. Jared Kaler is pushing Austin Farr. They know each other outside of this. Kyle Ridley. Oh, look at that. Joshua Germany. He's done it again. We've seen this move in the intro a million times. And look at him. 3 positions. He's just at, well, 2 positions according to the timing screen. But he went round the outside of Ridley and Farr. They're still side by side through 12. And here they go down towards turn 1 as Ryan Smith defends from Huffman, still chasing down Downing and Morse. Can Joshua Germany hold this position with Austin Farr? They go into turn 1 side by side. Joshua Germany was still there. Austin Farr might run wide. Jared Kaler gains that position, and Ridley's going to try and get through as well. Joshua Germany, what a drive from him. He's up into P9. It was 3 positions indeed. After the chicane and P12. Salty Gent on Twitch says, do they have to pit stop? Not just yet. It's 8 laps for the sprint race, and then another race after this. There'll be a 10-minute break. The other race is going to be about double the length, so probably 16 laps. And they will have to pit stop in that race for fuel, otherwise they won't make it to the end. Aleki says, missed Arca because I'm watching this semi-chaotic race. That's good, you need to stay here. I can see all of you viewing across the 3 channels. It means a lot, and we've got battles all over the place for only 8 laps. It's a shame for Henriksen, and I can't actually see any major replay. Let's see if this was it. So they go up into turn 3, and it just looks like Kieran and Donny actually made contact with each other. And now, this is where Kieran is absolutely backwards. Donny's off into the wall. And Kieran Dempsey, look, reversing his way back down the S's. And Andre, when he got that slowdown, good avoidance from Andre there. I'm sure there'll be a decent picture of that from Mr. Kakala in chat. Kieran Dempsey and Donny Henriksen getting tagged together. We saw some more crashes. Jeremy Agard apparently had a crash. It looks like he was involved in that as well. There it is. Sam Van Alst pinching Jerry Agard's round, and all the cars left, right. And that was an ORD car getting collected. 2 Masters of Torque cars down the bottom end. That's not what they needed. It was all stemming from that first accident. So we'll have to have a proper look at that later for sure. Have we had anything since? Donny Henriksen, I think, had another crash, or did he just pull over? It normally shows up if they pull over on the racetrack. It looks like, yeah, he had enough. So let's go back live and catch up with what we missed as we go on to lap 6. And your top 4 are still this close. This is your... Do you know what? I've forgotten where John Bailiff is in the standings. How bad is that? I know that 3 of these top 4 are your leading 3 drivers. And I know John Bailiff is up there somewhere. I have a feeling he's in 6th. In fact, I'm sure you won't mind if I just quickly show it over the race like this. John Bailiff is currently in 6th place. Jared Kaler and Donny Henriksen in 4th and 5th. But that is your top 4. King still chasing down Cranston. I think just sitting there biding his time. Andre Mayerek's looking close to Van der Velde as they come down the back straight. This is for P13. Your current front row for the feature race is 2 down under Sim Esports cars, Carl Ridley and Austin Farr. They'll be enjoying that as there's some people swapping positions. Andre Mayerek looks like he's got this done. Up into P13, into the chicane they go. And Duncan Murray, look, he's been keeping it quiet. He's up into P15 for some points. With Martin Wallace behind, Andy Fox behind him, Sam Van Alst and Dan Thornton now getting 2 points in P19, but he goes off. Can he keep that position? I don't think it's a slowdown for extending that, but look who's behind him. It's Jan Weisfanger. Dan Thornton has 2 points. Jan Weisfanger has 1 point. They need a 2-point gap. If Jan Weisfanger passes him, then Dan Thornton is going to lose point. This is the guy that he's fighting for P30. It looked extremely close between Cranston and King up the front. There's only 200 separating them, but these guys fighting for P30 are getting pretty feisty. Look at Dan Thornton getting his elbows out as they go up the hill to turn 2 and 3. Now Agard is going to sweep round the outside of Weisfanger on 2, inside of 3, gains that position. That is exactly what Thornton needed. If now Thornton can hold this on for 2 more laps in P19, they will be even on points into the feature race. That is exactly what he wanted. Who is that? That's Ray Oliver in 22nd trying to climb his way up. There was a bit of contact there. Downing and Huffman. Look at these two going at it as well. Up into the top section of the track. The double right-hander. Dan Downing on the outside of 7. Huffman on the inside. Is he going to get run out wide? No. Liz Creates says, come on, Dan. That's right. Root for him because they are fighting for points all the way down to 20th. Ray Oliver will be hoping to gain more positions than that in the feature for sure. He's got some strong pace here, but he's driving nice and safe. These guys, look. Ryan Smith pushing Dan Downing down the back straight to pass Jameson Huffman. They're not going to go free wide. Huffman's going to be round the outside. Ryan Smith's just going to watch them go side by side as they go into 10A and 10B, it's called. Up the hill into 11. Dan Downing goes wide. Ryan Smith says, thank you very much. I'll slot through as well. Come on, Huffman, let's go. This is all for P7, and this is a right gaggle of cars here at the bottom end, but we are on the white flag lap as these guys come up in to the top section on the final lap. How did King end up dropping down the order? I think Burkhard made a pass, and it ended up, here it is. So Burkhard on the inside of the chicane, this will be. Or is it the double right? It is the double right. Burkhard sweeps round the outside, and Bailiff follows him through. That's going to ruin Stephen's run down the back straight, and John Bailiff is going to have more exit speed. That is a great move from Burkhard. Stephen King will be a little bit upset with that. Not angry, just a little bit annoyed as they keep it down the back straight. We can't stay on this too long because they're on the last lap. But I think let's just try and see this get done. It gets done before the braking zone by the looks of it. Let's go back live. We don't want to miss it. Here they are. Jake Cranston, your championship leader. 2 out of 2 Road Atlanta races won so far. Is he going to make it 3 for 3? Let's just show that graphic again. This is what it looked like in Season 1. Well, if it comes up as they go down, it looks like Bailiff is under pressure from King. There we go. Jake Cranston up the hill then. Round turn 11. Down the hill they go towards turn 12. 2 previous wins for Jake Cranston at Road Atlanta. He's about to make it 3 for 3. 100% record. Jake Cranston wins round 9 sprint race as Morgan Burkhard goes round and into the wall as he crosses the line with a P2. John Bailiff takes P3. Stephen King and Henry Morse in P4 and 5. Dan Down in P6. Ryan Smith in P7. Huffman in P8. Germany P9. Austin Farr. Kayla Ridley round off your top 12. So Ridley going to be starting at the front of the grid for the feature race. But Jake Cranston, what a drive. Lights to flag. Well, not lights to flag because he did get past, but he passed them back relatively quickly. It's got to be said, well, can he wrap it up today? I don't know if he can extend. Well, he could actually. I think the maximum points was 76. He could be wrapping up the championship today. Thought he almost lost it at the last turn. It looked like it. He got on the grass. May have just been overly keen. Look at the... do you know what I've just realised? I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but let's have a look. I thought it said this. Morgan Burkhardt, at the front of his car, says Cranston for president. And if we look at the... I don't know if anyone's behind Jake Cranston right now. I'm pretty sure on the back of Jake Cranston's car on his number plate, it says something about the Morgan Burkhardt fan club. We're not going to be able to see it as they all run out of fuel as they go back to the pits. Well, what a sprint race. Time goes over. Go number 27 says Kitty Cat 2016 on Twitch. Barry TRC Racing says evening. Thought he almost lost it on the last turn. We read that. Thank you once again for joining us here for the Volkswagen Jetta Cup on the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch. And of course over on VCO Esports, where you are probably just intrigued at the absolute beast of a car that has been voted best car on, nominated for best car on iRacing. Not voted for yet, but that's what we need your help for. Come on, people. If you're enjoying this racing, we've got another race to go. More carnage with pit stops, a reverse top 12. What more could you ask for? Are all the cars identical, or can they have different tyres or anything? Sorry, I'm new, says the salty gent. You, of course, ask the questions away. I will answer anytime I can. All the cars are identical. Same tyres, same engine. The only thing different are the drivers and the liveries, which most of them make themselves. The teams started in Season 1. They evolved into the teams that they are now, and it's nice to play, have a little bit of fun as these teams have grown. The community is actually quite. I'm touched, if I'm honest, Salty Gent, at the community, the way it's grown and the way they treat each other at the moment. It's been a nice journey, and we're only in our second season. Is it going to continue? Who knows? I think that's over to you guys, over to the drivers and the fans. Do we have a season 3? Do we not? This isn't even me trying to plug it. It's a genuine thing where I don't know. We do go for a break after this, of course. Round 10 being the final round. And, of course, then some planning gets underway and we think about it. And it most likely will continue. Barry TRC Racing says, oh, it's continuing. There's a rumour. We'll slot this in whilst we're in the 10-minute break. There's a rumour that if Jake Cranston does pull off this season, Barry TRC Racing says he has insider knowledge. But if Jake Cranston does pull off this season and become a double-time Jetta Cup champion, which is extremely likely, and with this strong field that he's had to fight against this season, you can't say that he doesn't deserve it, and he's just proven himself more and more. A rumour has it that how can I describe him? A strong driver will appear if there was a third season. Apparently, this strong driver has won the SimLab Production Car Challenge overall for 3 seasons in a row. So it could. Not that I want to talk about next season because we are focused on this season. But it could be very interesting if we go again. But let's focus on today. Jake Cranston won by a 10.5. John Bailiff, P3. After a stunning fight, following Morgan Burkhardt through, past Stephen King. 2&X says, is it the Stig? It might be the Stig. Do you know what? Good idea. It might be the Stig. Stephen King, P4. Henry Morse, Pulses Esports there, getting some very much needed points against Win It or Bin It and Masters of Talk. As Masters of Talk only had 2 drivers. Well, yeah, Masters of Talk only had 2 drivers and Win It or Bin It only had 2 drivers in the points. Their second drivers being down in 19th, Jerry Agard with 2 points, and Andy Fox, P17, with 4 points. Whereas Pulsers have Stephen, Henry, and Josh in 4th, 5th, and 9th. So it's heating up indeed. Morgan Burkhardt and Jameson Huffman claiming yet again more points for Zero Forks Giving Racing. And I'll tell you what, that is important for them because they are definitely within for a shout of climbing up the order again. With all 3 drivers here, that is going to boost their confidence to no end whatsoever. Who else have we got here? We've got Austin Farr. Let's just read down in Ryan Smith, Huffman, Germany, Farr, top 10. Kayla Ridley, going to be starting on your front row. Both of them quite strong drivers. It'd be interesting to see what happens at the start of the next one. Majorek, Van der Velde, Wallace with the P15. He'll be happy with that. Some decent points. Van Olst, Fox, Murray in 18th, Agard 19th, and Thornton does take 1 point. Congratulations to Mr. Thornton in ORD Racing, closing that gap to Jan Weiswanger to now 1 point as they enter the feature. Let's get rid of that. I would like to see... Oh, it's actually gone. I was going to have a look for some replays of that first race, but it looks like it has disappeared from my event viewer, which is annoying. Excuse me. Let's have a go at... Well, let's put on a fancy camera angle, because we didn't get to use the drone cams in the race, because I'm not too sure that they are always in the right spot. Got some nice sunset happening now. It is still daytime. Barry TRC Racing, I know it takes a lot to get this sorted, but have you thought about expanding to other cars on different nights? That is a great question over on YouTube. And there's only 4 minutes left, so clearly I've been talking a lot. And I apologise for that wherever you're watching from, whether it's with our partners at VCO Esports or here on the Racing Line. There is... I'd be lying if I said that it is not something that we've thought about. It is. You are right. It is a lot of work, and if I'm honest, although I've had a lot of offers for help, which I am always grateful for, and of course the YouTube channel is growing. I think we're on 3.6k subscribers now, and thank you all for the support for that. VCO, we're coming for you. I know you're watching over there. It would be great to obviously. I don't think we're going to catch you up, because I think we're growing at a similar pace. But it's just a nice bit of friendly competition, of course. Not knocking VCO at all. Their content is amazing, and if you haven't seen the Pro Series, go over and watch that as well. And of course, vote for any Simi award that you want to win. I think Max Verstappen's up for best driver, real world driver. If you're a Max Verstappen fan, there's a lot of Dutch here. Off you go and vote for him. But other cars, yes, basically is the short answer. I have thought about it. Is it looking close to happening anytime soon? I'd be lying if I said yes to that, because it does take a lot of work, and there's still sort of all of the drivers as well as myself still work, and it is just me behind here. Of course, we have Stephen King working on the website, and he said the same thing. He wants some pictures of some other cars on that website rather than just the Jetta. So trust me, the pressure is there, not just from you guys, but from close friends and drivers as well. So I'm sure it will happen eventually. But there are, again, long story short, there are other leagues out there provided by other channels. There's GT3 leagues everywhere. There's LMP2 races. If we stick to niche markets, maybe that's what our thing will be. Someone said slow stiff Sundays. Was that Van der Velde? The Pontiac might make... Well, I don't know if the Pontiac could be entertaining. It's so slow, but who knows? You never know. I mean, this car's fairly slow, and it is doing a great job. Kakula says there's no possibility to go to previous sessions events on SDK. We use ATVO, and it doesn't clear the events on session change. It's a lot more pain to make pretty. That's good advice once again from Kakula, and I'm sure I can try and implement that. Aleki says ovals. Do you know what? Yeah, ovals might be a thing. Some people even said for our Jetta Cup Christmas party that we should do a Jetta oval race, although the damage would have to be off because the meatballs are a joke, and iRacing need to fix the best car of the year because it's very sensitive. Barry TRC Racing says Simi Award for least sim races entered this year goes to himself. Andre Mayorek says let's do GT4s. Good shout. GT4s are good cars. Alexander van der Velde, beat druk opt moment. I don't know what that means because I don't speak Dutch. Jetta on Martinsville, go, says Kakula. I think King mentioned that earlier. Jetta's on oval, says Van der Velde. Lights are on, and it's a dark race. Vote VW Jetta on VCO Simi Awards, says F1 Delta. See, look how much support there is. And obviously, it's going to be slightly biased because we're all here watching Jettas. But at the same time, I have a feeling we've got some new viewers today across the 3 channels as we enter our final 2 rounds. And again, I thank you for watching. At least this updated Road Atlanta isn't as bad in the dark as the old one was. Oh yeah, there's track lights. Didn't even notice. Is that what you were saying, Delta? Is that, well, there you go. You learn something new every day. As the timer hits 9 minutes and we head towards our feature race. So I hope you're ready. Strap in. I haven't taken one drink so far. I'm not going to because it is time. I might take a sip, but I can't because I've only got a minute to read out this grid. And here we go. Your grid then looks like this. Kyle Ridley is on pole position. Ignore the times. This is just done from the race. Jared Kaler, Austin Farr and Joshua Germany on your second row. Jameson Huffman, Ryan Smith, third row. Dan Downing, Henry Morse on the fourth row. King, Bailiff, Burkhardt and Cranston round off your top 12. Andre Mayerek, Van der Velde, Wallace, Vinolst, Fox, Murray, Agard, Thornton, Weiswanger, Oliver, LeQuay and Smith round off your top 24. Blake, Kieran Dempsey, Amundere, Otley, Ribeiro and Henriksen round off your top 30. And that is your official grid. Let's go to the front. Let's have a look at what's happening. Should we have a look at the starter cam again? Or shall we go for this camera? I think we should go for this camera this time. Is Delta Racing? Says Barry TRC Racing. Yes, he is. Daniel Downing is the one you're looking for, if that's who you are supporting, Mr. TRC. And Aleki says Arca is a niche market. Maybe. You never know. Well, here we are. We're now waiting. You can see all the Jettas around the corner. The interval is ready. The laps will be shown when the race starts. We won't show the track map yet. Ray Oliver jumps to the pits. Oh, Sam Van Olsten's got a jump start. He's not going to be happy with that. I saw it in the background, the number 92 yellow car. Away they go. Carl Ridley actually gets quite a slow start there on pole position as Kayla's going to get the move done before turn 1. And look at Joshua Germany storming through into P2. Can he go around the outside of Kayla into turn 1? That'll be brave if he can. He's going to have to slot into P3 because Carl Ridley's gone wide, as has Ryan Smith. Onto the grass they go, and Joshua Germany leads this race as he goes up into turn 3. What a start from the Pulsars driver. Could this be the one? But he's got Austin Farr right behind him on a slipstream heavy circuit as they all come flying down the S's. And I'll tell you what, it's actually fairly safe from everyone as they come down the S's. Austin Farr's going to be piling on the pressure. We've seen Joshua Germany defend for his life before, but I have to say, it's unlikely he can do it for all of this race. It's 16 laps, but this is a race that Pulsus needed. Look at them all come flying down into turn 6 and 7. I wouldn't mind trying the drone cams, but I just can't trust that it's going to work properly. I mean, that is quite a good view. As Joshua Germany comes down, Austin Farr goes onto the grass. We're going to see them go down the straight. I love it. I do love these wide shots, but now it's going to come away. So we'll go back to this camera as they head down. Look at Joshua Germany flying down. Austin Farr's going to get pretty close. Shall we have a look at the gearbox? This is what it looks like from behind with the little gold leaf. You got Jameson Huffman there in P3. He's being hounded by Americans. You got Austin Farr, Jameson Huffman and Henry Morse in the cars behind. Huffman absolutely sends it up the inside. Is that going to be contact? It didn't sound like there was, but he's on the inside of the next apex, and Jameson Huffman moves up into P1 provisionally, but now Joshua Germany's going to have to try and hold it around the outside of 12. It's going to be a brave man to do so. Can he get it done? His nose is still there. He is still there. Joshua Germany, can he get the run down towards turn 1? It's going to be unlikely. Surely, is he going to keep it there? I mean, his nose is still there. Huffman can't run him off as Dan Downing makes the same mistake. And there's the spin. That's Henry Morse. There's a big crash behind. Who's involved? There's loads of cars involved. Oh, we're going to have a replay of that. That is a big crash, but that is just what Joshua Germany needed. Well, he's in P2. Huffman still takes the lead. There's loads of drivers involved in that crash. Let's have a look and see if we can find out what happened. That looked like Henry Morse and Daniel Downing coming together into turn 1. Stephen King gets screwed over by that as Henry Morse goes round. Jake Cranston's going to get involved and Morgan Burkhardt. Oh no, a couple of big hitters. Morgan Burkhardt's round. Andre Mayerek's going to get collected, as is Andy Fox. And look at Burkhardt, he's going into the path of Cranston again. Cranston sees it coming. He does avoid it. Oh, and then Bailiff gets squeezed. Look at this. Top drivers. Top drivers. There'll be some meatballs there, and these people are going to come into the pits. Their race is not over. They get a fast repair as they climb up the hill. Kieran Dempsey goes off in the background there. That was absolute chaos. And I can't see. Look at Andy Fox still drifting round. Slow motion drift for Andy Fox as Bailiff comes up the hill, and as does Cranston. Wallace goes through. Agard goes through. LeQuay goes through. Burkhardt is there on the track. I wonder if Cranston and Bailiff will keep that position from Burkhardt, who made an effort to join the track earlier. They're all coming through. This is quite something as they all filter in, and it does actually look like Cranston and Bailiff might have kept that from Burkhardt after cutting the track. But we'll have to have a look at that properly later. Let's catch up with what's happening live, because there are all sorts going on. I think we now need to show the track map already, and of course pit stops. Actually, no, we don't need to show pit stops yet, 'cause it takes up too much of that screen. But Huffman, your leader. Joshua Germany is still in P2, with Austin Farr right behind. You got Fox, Burkhardt, Cranston. Who else down there? Weiswanger, Van. There's loads of people in the pits. I'll tell you who's... then this has happened before, actually. Who's gained the most positions, do you reckon? Can you see it? Actually, do you know what? It's not who I thought it was. I thought it would be... technically, it should be Ray Oliver, because he started in 30th in the pit lane. But it's only showing up as 7 positions because he finished in 22nd in the sprint. But Ray Oliver is up there in P15. You've got Christian Ribera and Donny Henriksen in 16th and 17th. Weiswanger, Thornton's getting 2 more points, so Weiswanger's under pressure from Thornton. The 2 Smiths are down the bottom end. They've been collected again. What is chat saying? Come on, race start crash, says Salty Gent. Aleki says he'd like to see the Jetta on Talladega. Alex is in P4, P5 now. It's Alex plus 9. Alexander van der Velde is having another great feature race, which is worth double the points of the sprint, by the way, if you didn't already know, as they start closing in on some backmarkers who have been involved in the crashes. I think Austin Farr looks like he was pushing Joshua Germany to try and help him down that back straight. So, they might be in different teams, but these drivers are not adverse to helping someone if it helps them both. So he would have been pushing Joshua Germany to get the slipstream and not let Jameson run away with this. But look who's in P4 is Stephen King, who did manage to avoid that crash. His brake discs were lighting up, and somehow... Barry TRC Racing, I know you're out there somewhere. Daniel Downing, who you're rooting for, is up there in P6. Well, he's only gained 1 position, but he's up there. He's always in that top area now, which is great to see. Jerry Agard's having a cracking race, up 12 positions in P7. Martin Wallace is up 7 positions in P8. Ika Lequay's up 14 positions in P9. Dan Blake's up 15 positions in P10. John Bailiff right behind, who was involved in that earlier crash, and Jared Kaler now down in P12 after starting on the front row, down 10 positions. Greg Otley's up 15. Henry Morse down 6. Your biggest loser so far, Kyle Ridley, who is still in the pits, looking worse for wear, as is Duncan Murray and Kieran Dempsey. If Lurchus Gaming score those points, Meatball Motorsport could be under threat. But let's have a look at those interval gaps. Where are the battles on this circuit? Jameson is showing a lot of pace, you know. If I was the others, I'd be worried, but it all depends on how his pit stop goes. I say this as Germany gets a much better exit out of the final corner. Has Jameson got a slowdown? Because Joshua Germany's looking up the inside of turn 1. Look at his brake discs glowing, and Austin Farr's going to try and take advantage and go around the outside. Thinks better of it. Slots behind. Joshua Germany still in P2. Just behind Jameson Huffman. Austin Farr in 3rd. Stephen King trying to close this gap, who is being followed by Alexander van der Velde. This is what it looks like from the bonnet of Mr. van der Velde's car. Number 38, the Dutchman independent driver. Coming through the S's now. We haven't seen this camera angle much this year. It's quite nice to see how close everyone is. I'll tell you who's closer. If we go on board with Henriksen back here, he is looking at Ray Oliver, who is chasing down Henry Morse. A nice little train here, headed by Greg Otley up the road in the blue car. We're on lap 5. Lap 5 already. How many laps can you get out of a full fuel tank? Is there pit stop tactics? Good question from the Salty Gent, and I'm glad you asked. So, the rules state that you cannot pit before lap 5. Now, anyone that you saw in the pits already risk disqualification. However, you are allowed to pit early before that lap 5 if you have got a meatball. A meatball flag being that your car is too damaged to carry on, so you are allowed to come into the pits and fuel up. Now, how long does the fuel tank last? Well, the sprint race was 8 laps, so you would assume that the fuel tank either lasts 8 or 9 laps. depending on who's driving and if they're fuel saving or not. They won't be able to do 10 laps. I can't see that happening. So lap 8 and 9 is where the stops will definitely be done by. Yes, there are pit stop tactics. You're going to see 2 drivers coming in now by the looks of it. Henry Morse under pressure from Henriksen. They're both coming in. Look at this pit lane entry as they come sliding down the concrete. There are the cones. That's where the speed limit is. There's some more drivers up ahead. You're going to be looking out for, I think, a yellow tent on the right-hand side. And this is Donnie Henriksen's stop. So we'll go back live to the races up the front. This is on board with Huffman looking behind. So we're on lap 6 of 16 and we've seen a number of people pit. Now we can get this pit stop thing up so we can see who's stopped and who hasn't. Your lead driver of the stoppers. Now that might be incorrect. Ray Oliver shows us 1 stop because he started in the pit lane. I believe Dan Blake is your lead driver of the stoppers. He's currently in P13. And look who's in P2. Morgan Burkhardt. Jake Cranston is in P4. But who's going to come out on top of the other drivers? You've got 11 drivers, 12 drivers, including Ray Oliver, who haven't pit yet. We're looking back at Joshua Germany coming under pressure from Austin Farr down the back straight into the chicane. Austin Farr's looking like he's got the inside, but Joshua Germany is staying behind Jameson Huffman to try and get the extra slipstream, the extra speed, the extra braking performance into the corner. Austin Farr's on the inside. Joshua Germany's going to try and hold it round the outside. He has the inside for the next corner. They're still side by side, are Austin Farr and Joshua Germany. Look who's behind them. It's Stephen King trying to come through as well, who slots, dives into the pits. He thinks, I'm not getting involved in this battle. It's just costing me time to the faster guys behind. Joshua Germany still defending for all he's worth. Slots into P2 whilst Jameson Huffman pulls away. Austin Farr not looking like he's helping the Pulseless driver anymore. As we go, I'll tell you what, let's go back and have a look at how close they are. This is on the back of Joshua Germany's car. Austin Farr looking up the inside of the S's. Brave or stupid, you decide. Shall we try the drone cam again? I'm not sure it will work down the S's, but here it is. Joshua Germany, followed by Austin Farr and Alexander Van der Velde, who's now back up into P4, followed by Martin Wallace and Ika LeQuay in the top end of the field. Great showing from them. It is getting very dark out there now. All you can see is headlights and track lights. Do tell me in chat if those track lights are new, because I don't remember Road Atlanta being a night race. I don't remember setting this up to be a night race, but there we go. I mean, I can't control time, so there we have it. Joshua Germany under pressure still from Austin Farr. Kakula says, yeah, they added more lights. It's good. It's nice. Surprised, actually. I did not expect it, and I think it's made it better because it would have been pitch black otherwise as they all go down that back straight. What is the closest fight? I can see Kayla chasing down Oliver as well. Where are they heading down towards? These guys are heading down towards the chicane. Still following Greg Otley. This is P8, 9 and 10. Really close. There's a couple of gaps throughout the field because of the earlier crash. That is Wallace and LeQuay coming through the chicane. We're just waiting for the 3 that we were on board with. Here they are. Greg Otley leads, followed by Ray Oliver and Kayla. Look at them flying through. That was a nice shot, actually, of them coming through there. There goes Wallace and LeQuay again. This is the exit of turn 12. Alexander Van der Velde is in the pits. Who's coming through? Greg Otley's peeled off into the pits, and Ray Oliver and Jared Kayla have been released as they go through turn 12. Flying through turn 12, I should say. These are nice little track cams. You got, there they go. Ray Oliver and Jared Kayla through turn 1. Up through the S's of turn 2. Shall we just follow them round? Into turn 3. Down towards turn 5. I'm only doing this because it's the pit stop phase. Turn 5 exit. Into turn 6. Ray Oliver looks like he's pulling away from Kayla here as there's battling behind. It's Wallace and LeQuay. Maybe I was watching the wrong drivers. Was I going too fast across the track map? So that is Oliver. That's why. Oliver and Kayla there. Oliver still looking like he's pulling away though. Into turn 7. I love the glowing brake discs as you can see how hard they're braking and turning. Turn 8 is a pretty much nothing corner. It's on a straight. Very slipstream heavy. It's going to keep Kayla in contention. Turn 9, same thing. Down towards turn 10. Now that's Wallace and LeQuay again. They're going 2 by 2, these cars. Down the hill. We're on lap 8. So now we're going to see our final pit stops, guys. You got the last few people coming in. Joshua Germany comes in the pits. We'll keep an eye on that. Ray Oliver has not pit yet. Let's go back to normal cameras. So, Germany, Wallace and Lequay are in the pits. Here we go. Where is your lead pit stop driver? Alexander van der Velde has come out in the lead, just ahead of Stephen King, who is now in P2. So this is interesting. So where is Joshua Germany going to come out? Is he leaving the pits yet? Joshua Germany, here comes the leaders. Joshua Germany is going to come out on the inside of turn 1. Are they going to beat him round the outside of turn 1? He's exiting the pits now. Alexander van der Velde comes round turn 1. He's going to have the inside for turn 2. And Joshua Germany is going to take the lead of this race once again into turn 3. With Alexander van der Velde slotting in P2. And Stephen King in P3. Right now they're showing up as 4th, 5th and 6th. But Huffman, Farr and Kayla have not pit yet. Huffman seems to be going long. Is he going to run out of fuel on lap 9? That's 1 lap extra than the sprint. I'm not sure how long the tank lasts as Ray Oliver comes into the pits and tumbles down the order. That looks like further than I expected that he would have dropped, to be honest. I can't see that he's had any issues. I've got to scroll down a long way. I have not been keeping track of SDK. Yeah, it does look like he's just pit. It's Huffman. He's bound to come into the pits now. That is not Austin Farr going for a lap 10. No, he is coming into the pits. Sam Van Alst goes round. Kayla surely coming into the pits as well. He's coming round the chicane now. If we look in the track map on the top right, you can see JC coming round turn 11 into the pit lane. But Joshua Germany is going to be the one to watch. We're on board with Jameson Huffman, who was your leader before the pit stop phase. Your final 3 drivers coming into the pit stops now. So this is it. This is what we're waiting for. But where is Joshua Germany? He's going to be coming down the main straight now. Jameson Huffman leaves the pit lane. Joshua Germany's still coming down that main straight. How much speed is he carrying? Who's going to be leading on the exit of the pits? It's going to be Jameson Huffman by the looks of it. It's not even close. The pace of the Zero Forks Giving driver and Austin Farr. Well, Austin Farr's been passed by 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's contact. Can Stevie hold that? Stephen King, big drift, does hold it in P4. They went 3 wide into turn 3. Oh, my Lord. Get your prayer beads out because that was close. Austin Farr coming out the pits. But look at the gap up ahead. Jameson Huffman has absolutely, well... Where's Cranston is more to the question. He's down in P9. He's not going to make it 100% record. He's got 6 laps to go. They've all done their stops. And Jameson Huffman has absolutely dominated this race. He's going to be another new race winner here on the Jetta Cup. We've had so many that I've lost count. We've had 20 podium sitters this season. I know that much. And I can't remember if Huffman's already got a podium. I don't think he does. So it's going to be 21 in this season alone. And another race winner, which is madness. I've still got a little bit of a cough from COVID, but it's all right. I'm surviving. I hope you're enjoying this race. Thank you for joining us on VCO Esports and the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch. And thank you for joining me in chat. We've got 6 laps to go. The pit stop phase is over, so we can get rid of that. If you're wondering what the pit strategies look like, here it is. Jameson Huffman went the longest with Austin Farr. Jameson Huffman actually winning out on that. Austin Farr not so much, who is currently in P6. Ray Oliver showing up as 2 stops there, but that is because he started in the pit lane as Dempsey comes into the pits again. Wonder if he got another meatball. Is Dempsey having a bad day? Should we have a replay? This is him into turn 1 by himself. Onto the grass. That's going in the wall, potentially. Ooh, very close to the wall. Rally driving for Meatball Motorsport. Oh, I think he's just going to pull over. Yeah, he's pulled over and he's had enough. That is fair enough. The cranes will go and pick that car up. And look how close it is here. Van der Velde defending for his life. Now, we've seen these drivers defend quite hard before. But he's fighting for a podium here, is Alex van der Velde, as is Daniel Downing, as is Austin Farr down there in P6. The gap down to Burkhardt, who's involved in the earlier crash, being chased down by his championship rival, Jake Cranston, is 7.2 seconds. Now watch this. Jake knows he's got a comfortable lead. I bet you he doesn't pass Morgan. I bet you he pushes him to try and close that 7.3 second gap in the next 5 laps. There he goes. Knew it. Called it. You all owe me money. Sure of it. Get your super chats in on, I don't even know if they work on Twitch and YouTube. But yeah, smart driving, optimistic, but smart. Duncan Moraes says, so sorry to all the guys for being involved in my bad luck. That's Duncan Moraes taking ownership by the sounds of it of that first lap crash, I guess. This is Otley, Mawson, Thornton, 3 wide into the chicane. Greg Otley, what a move from Gregory Otley, the independent driver. Dan Thornton, though, is having a cracking race today here in Ray Atlanta, and he said Road Atlanta. He's currently in P17. All he needed to do was outscore Weiswanger by 2 points this round to move up a position in the standings. Is he going to take risks with these 3 drivers around him? He's got Henry Morse, who's 1 penalty away from a quali ban, just like Ray Oliver's serving today. Greg Otley's just pulled off a storming move into the final chicane. And Donny Alpha Henriksen is also a strong driver for Masters of Talk down there in P19. Christian Ribeiro's gaining 2 points in P20 as well. But Henry Morse past Daniel Thornton, and off they go. Number 38, driving a blinder, says the salty gent. I mean, absolutely. Up 11 places he is. And now chasing down P2 Joshua Germany, who's going to be defending for the rest of this race, as it looks like Jameson Huffman has absolutely pulled clear of the field. Look at the lead he has all the way down that straight. Is Alex pushing him down to try and close that gap? It looks like it. They're closing slightly, hundredths at a time, but 3.1 seconds is a lot of time. Alex decides, actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and go up the inside of the chicane. But actually, He's made himself vulnerable there as Stephen King swoops around the outside, and Daniel Downing's going to come and swoop through as well. Look at this, F1 Delta, as it says on the side of his car, up the inside of 11, down the hill into 12. Can Austin Farr take advantage of this as well? But Alexander van der Velde moving down from P3 into P5 if Daniel Downing can hold this, and Austin Farr can slot in. He's not going to make it 3 wide. Surely you can't fit a Jetta in that gap. Who's that in the background? It's Burkhard Cranston, Blake Wallace and Agard all fighting back there, and Daniel Downing on the inside of T1. The 2 Pulsars cars are released into 2nd and 3rd. Jameson Huffman, though, 3.5 seconds clear with 3 laps to go. Bailiff and Lequay are fighting it out, and Fox. Look at this, 2 Win It or Bin It cars versus one of the Lurchers. John Bailiff up the inside of turn 3. Nicely done. It's getting hard to see. I'll tell you what, it's still getting hard to see the cars in this light, but you can see that striking livery anywhere. Any day of the week, Win It or Bin It, in that nice, what kind of red would you call that? Just sort of a candy red with the chrome UK flag. Behind them, Ezekiel Lequay and Christopher Smith up 9 places in P15. So he's getting some points. The number 83 for ORD, the top driver for ORD today. Ryan Smith outside of the points, but Dan Thornton not far behind. P18, doing a cracking job. Van der Velde doing the 101. How to drop 5 spots in half a track. Yeah, he's down in P6 now, so he's dropped a couple more. Austin Farr is looking fairly close to Daniel Downing as they come down the back straight. They're going down 2 by 2 as they enter the chicane. King up the inside of Germany, who looks like they've swapping round. Kieran Dempsey says that went well. Sounds like sarcasm with the full stop in the YouTube chat. But King looks like he's been released from Joshua Germany. He wouldn't have fought that too hard, I imagine. He's swapping round. Joshua Germany, the defense king at the moment, trying to take that crown from Sam Van Nolst from Donington. That was a cracking round for anyone that didn't see it. And now look, can Joshua Germany hold on for a podium? His 2nd podium of the season. Their first, a 1-2 for Pulsar Esports, with the 3rd driver Henry Morse crashing out. But Jameson Huffman now 4.3 seconds ahead. It's looking fairly secure. What can these boys do? Can King, Joshua Germany, hold on to their podium from Daniel Downing, Austin Farr and Alexander van der Velde? I know I'm late to the game on this one because it's been a busy day at work, but great job, guys. ZFG. Well, Huffman in 1st, Burkhard in 7th, and Wallace in 10th. It's a cracking drive from Zero Forks Giving Racing, so we thank you for joining once again for your support. Austin Farr, with a brilliant move around the outside of 7, holds Daniel Downing tight to ruin his run down the straight. And look who's playing a blinder again, number 38, following Austin Farr down this back straight towards the chicane of 10A, 10B. That is genuinely what they're called. And this straight has turn 8 and 9 on it. Who'd have thought? Madness. But Austin Farr heading down towards. He's going to have the inside line. He looks like he's got the move done. He's up into P4. Jameson Huffman clear. It's going to be a win for Zero Forks Given Racing. There's 2 laps to go if he doesn't make a mistake. It's never over until the Fat Jetta sings. That's what we'll say from now on. Looks like Smith is swapping positions back there as well. Fox and Bailiff. Equal. Look at these two side by side into the chicane. They're having a right tussle. Lurchus Gaming and ORD Racing. Christopher Smith, number 83. Equal, number 84. Absolutely side by side through the chicane. Still side by side through 11 and 12 over the over the bridge. This is fantastic racing across the field. You even got Kayla and Oliver down in 21st place going at it. There's side by sides everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. In fact, you've all reminded me, guys. Here you go. Have the graphic. Vote for driver of the day. All you need to do is type in chat, hashtag vote in any chat, whether you're watching on VCO Esports, TRL Racing Line Twitch, or the Racing Line YouTube. Just put hashtag vote followed by your driver of choices. There's a big spin in the background, and it's Ray Oliver from Kayla. I'll be honest, I was looking at chat at the time. I want to have another look at that. These two have come into contact before. Oh, that is Kayla all day long. Yeah, big turn from Kayla. That will be a penalty, no doubt about it. Valdez 31 by the looks of it. Don't forget to get those votes in, though. Let's not let that put a downer on it. I mean, Ray won't be happy. Downer. Down under Sim Esports. Not a pun that I meant to do. And not a time to be joking. But yeah, probably a penalty coming Kayla's way. But he's in 22nd anyway. So maybe it might be worse than 5 penalty points. Let's go back because there's only 2 rounds to go. Look at Huffman. You cannot fault this guy. This is fantastic for him. He's absolutely shown up. He's going to be another new race winner if he can just keep it on track. This is how dark it is now. Remember the sunset that we had as we arrived here in practice and quali. As it looks like Ray's called it a day. Lovely shot of some trees as per usual. We are on the final lap, so keep an eye on that. This is, well, we're keeping an eye on it. We're watching our leader now. Look at the gap. You can't even see the second two. You cannot even see him. There's Huffman coming round 6. Where's second and third? King and Germany. They're not even in shot. That is how dominant this man has been today. The closest race right now is Austin Farr and Dan Downing. That could be pretty spicy going into the chicane. Alexander van der Velde in P6. Cranston has passed Burkhardt. I might have to have a quick look for that at the end. But looking at this, I think Pulsus Esports have done enough to keep the championship alive, although it's going to be a big ask in the final round. Keep those votes coming in for your driver of the day, people. I know who'd get my vote, but I have to stay out of this, I'm afraid, so it is completely up to you guys. But Huffman is coming down now into the final chicane, 10 A and B. I'll put this up again for your... Oh, not that one. We don't want that one. That's your previous winner graphic. We can get rid of that. Your driver of the day graphic is what we want. Where is it? There it is. Hashtag vote, followed by your drivers. Jameson Huffman comes round the final corner, weaves down the straight. He's got a new race winner. It says newbie on his number plate. And Jameson Huffman has won your feature race with Stephen King and Joshua Germany for Pulsus Esports, taking P2 and 3. A new race winner. A happy podium sitter there, I am sure, after a big lull in pace. And absolutely, well, he'll be absolutely over the moon with that. A really tense race across the field, and it looks like Burkhardt got back past Cranston on the last lap. We've got a few people voting for Alexander van der Velde as they're coming through. They're all going to be going down towards, they've all been instructed to go back towards the pits. That is absolutely... What a great race. I'll count the votes in a second. We'll go through the results first. But wow, battles all over the shop. I'm going to take a sip of my drink as we see them go round. I'll be honest. All Pulse Esports had to do today was outscore Masters of Talk by 18 points. I think they've done that. It'll be a big ask for them to take the team's championship in Watkins Cup for the final round next week. But we can't call Masters of Talk champions today, as I'm pretty sure Pulse Esports have outscored them. We can't call Cranston champion either, although it's looking likely. I'm pretty sure the gap is still less than the maximum amount of points available. And if Jake did get a double DNF and Morgan Burkhardt somehow pulled out a double victory, then it would be, well, it would be a hell of an upset, I'm sure. Where is Mr. Huffman? There he is. Zero Forks giving racing. He's picked his spot. He's on the main straight. He's doing his donuts. Let's get a closer view of him. Is he still going? He's whacking it in reverse. They have to do reverse donuts because it's front wheel drive. There he is. He's parked up in a nice straight line. And who's going to join him? Is that another car joining him? It's Martin Wallace. Is that Martin Wallace? It is Martin Wallace. Are they going to do a team one? Let's zoom out. Where's the chopper cam? Yeah, and Burkhardt. Oh, Jameson had enough. He got bored of waiting for the other two. There we go. Race over. It was worth a try. They didn't get there quick enough. I'll count up the driving votes in a second. Oh, excuse me. But let's get some slow motion replays on. We'll go through the order. We'll do some driver interviews so we can introduce... Well, I know there's some new viewers out there, so we'll introduce some of the new viewers to the drivers. Or some of the drivers, and then we will move on. Where shall I do a replay from? Let's just go from here. Is that the right place? Yeah. There we go. The start. Congratulations, you've received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. Well done, guys. You reached 100 messages once again. I underfueled the car, says Andre Mayerek. Also, the mid-pack in this league is a bloodbath. Ah, there goes Jared Kaler off. Looks like the front pack is a bloodbath as well, as Carl Ridley went off as well. And that's where Joshua Germany took the lead for a brief second. Van der Velde underfueled as well. Cut it so close. Stephen Morse says vote Henry Morse. Cross the line with 0.1. Zero Forks giving racing says Zero Forks giving badges. Let's look at the results. Here we go. The results then of that race in the end look like this. Jameson Huffman takes your maximum amount of points in the feature race for Zero Forks giving racing. An American winner on an American circuit. 48 points. Stephen King and Joshua Germany are 2-3 for Pulse Esports, a double podium and a lot of points for the team, with Austin Farr in P4 for Down Under Sim Esports. And a great drive from him. Daniel Downing, the independent, number 17 in P5. Alexander Van der Velde putting up a good fight, probably realising he underfueled and then backing off towards the end to try and save some of that fuel. Morgan Burkhardt, although we missed it, got back past Jake Cranston on the last lap. I might see if I can find that overtake, actually, just so that we can have a quick look. But that was for P7 and P8. Dan Blake, P9, he had a quiet race. I don't think we even saw him once. The number 127 win it or bin it. But there he is in P9, just ahead of Martin Wallace in P10 for Zero Forks giving it, making it top 10 for all three Zero Forks giving cars. Madness. Great job. Jeremy Agard, P11. Potentially, and I could be wrong here, but that's one of his highest finishes this season for sure. I'm certain of it. Unless I've really forgotten his best result. And I hope I haven't. John Bailiff, P12. Andy Fox, P13 for Win It or Bin It. So that's 3 Win It or Bin It's. 9th, 12th and 13th. Ika Lequay, Chris Smith, 14th and 15th. Donnie Henriksen, 16th. Henry Morse, 17th. Dan Thornton gets 6 points for that P18. Greg Otley, P19. And Christian Ribeiro, P20. I'm trying to spot. I think I might have found it. This is Jake Cranston and Morgan Burkhardt going at it. into turn 1. So that's Cranston passing Burkhardt. This would be probably the final lap. Now, how does he get it back? So to go through the S's, it's going to be on the back straight, isn't it? Should we fast forward? I think I found it. Here it is. Into the final chicane. Burkhardt's going to have a look around the outside. He does get it there. The glowing brake disc showing how hard he tried to get that move done. Inside of 11. It's going to be neck and neck because they came down towards 12. Can Jake Cranston get the extra run? He tries squeezing Burkhardt in. Wow. That was close. That was really close between those two across the line, but it looks like Burkhardt won out in the end. Well done, those two. It's nearly time then for driver interviews. Well, I say it's nearly time. It is time for driver interviews. So, well, let's count the votes. Driver of the days. Let's have a look. There needs to be some sort of add-on where people can vote across 3 channels for this. I might just do it on Twitter. Need to get my Twitter game up anyway. Let's have a look. What have we got? A Twitter poll would probably be the best, actually. That would make sense. Let's see. It's too late now. We're on round 9 out of 10, Jack. Why? What are you talking about? Let's have a see here. Joshua Jeremini, says Duncan Murray. So that's 1 vote for Josh. 1 vote for Morgan. 1 vote for Huffman. 1 vote for Alex. 2 votes for Josh. 2 votes for Thornton. 2 votes for Huffman. 3 votes for Huffman. 1 vote for Ridley. 1 vote for Morse. 4 votes for Huffman. 2 votes for Alex. 5 votes for Huffman. Henry Morse has 2. Austin Farr. 6 votes for Huffman. And we've got to call it there. It was an easy count. That's one of the biggest... Whoa, look at that little crash on screen. That's one of the biggest margins that we've seen a win by. That is a popular winner right there. I don't think we've seen a winner that popular since Andy Fox at round 5, who got congratulated by the whole paddock and all of chat at Monza, I believe that was. So Jameson Huffman is your driver of the day. I think it's only right that we now call some drivers in for a little chinwag. Let's speak. Bob joins in and makes it 7 votes. That is now our highest driver vote of the day. Who have we got in the interview waiting room? We got to talk to him first. We're not going to build up to it and make him wait, are we? Let's bring him in. It's Jameson Huffman. I don't even know if we've spoke to him this season just yet, but here he is. Not only your feature race winner, 7 votes for driver of the day, the most of any driver this season. Jameson, how are you feeling?
I am feeling great. That was a very fun drive. There were definitely some moments that I was kind of questioning what was happening, especially towards the end there, wondering if I got the fuel right, and especially that first stint, I was starting to sputter after 10A coming into pits, and I thought I kind of screwed my race over with that, but man, I'm feeling pumped after that. That was great.
That's good. It's good. You can hear the excitement still in your voice. It might take a while to come down off of this, but it looked fairly. I'm not going to say it was easy. It looked fairly dominant though in terms of gaps that we've seen this season. You had a 4-second lead by the time you crossed the line. You came out of the pits in first. You must have seen the other guys in your mirror, but you had Austin, Mr. Farr, not far behind you, who pit at the same lap as you. And he wasn't so lucky. He actually came out in... So you came out in the lead. He came out right behind you, but ended up in 6th. That's how close it was. And then you just kind of drove off into the sunset, into the darkness of the night.
It was definitely a good amount of strategy, because I was just thinking, get to the lead first, and then I was just going to try and set the pace and hope they fought behind me. And I think lap 5, I want to say, I saw them go too wide into 10A, and I was like, well, I've been... staying back a little bit, keeping the tires better, so pushed that lap and came out with, I think another second over second after that lap, and then just continued to clock off laps for the rest of the race. Just hope I came back out in first from the pits and then continued to keep that same pace.
Yeah, man, and driver of the day as well, 7 votes. That's definitely our most this season. And you can't say it's not deserved. I mean, you went up 4 places, I think, to gain first. You had a couple drivers go off at turn 1, which I'm pretty sure everyone would have been like, oh, freebies, thank you. And then, yeah, I can't imagine what you're feeling. You're one of the very few race. Well, I say very few. There's been a lot now, but one of the rare race winners and another gem to the season. On to Watkins next. How are you feeling for Watkins Glen Cup?
I mean, Watkins Glen, it is definitely one of those closer to home tracks, especially living in the US. It's definitely one of those bigger tracks here. So I've definitely got a good amount of laps there, but last time we went there, Sim Lab, I wasn't doing too good. It may have just been not putting in enough time there, but I think we'll see how it is. But I think I've got a definite chance there.
It's very slipstream heavy. I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna speak to some of the other guys. But before I do, as usual with everyone else, is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you go?
I'd like to say thanks to my parents for letting me race and basically giving me everything that I have and just letting me do what I do. And teammates for helping me out, Martin and Morgan. I think we got 3 in the top 10 today, so that was really good and just helping me out with pace and practice. And you guys for putting this on.
No worries.
It's a great league.
Wow, thank you very much. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. Congratulations again on your win. Go and celebrate, grab yourself a drink or whatever, and we'll see you next week, of course, for the finale.
Thanks.
Off he goes. First time we've spoken to Jameson, I'm sure of it. But yeah, great guy by the sounds of it. And a very happy bunny. I would like to speak to next. I think I'm going to pull not one, but 2 drivers in. And I think it's very well deserved today. So both for Pulsus Esports. Actually, is the 3rd driver around? I can't see him. But we've got Stephen King and Joshua Germany in chat. Here they are. How are you feeling, boys?
Go on, Josh. Take the lead. I know how happy you are.
I don't know what to think, to be honest. Like I said Steve before this, came into this and I just didn't feel quick at all. And last season I didn't feel quick either. I don't know what it is. I just can't get to grips with the track, and then I end up getting a 9th and a 3rd. So it doesn't really matter if I'm quick or not, does it? So yeah, I think overall, well, it's no Okayama is because I got a 9th and a 2nd. This is a 9th and a 3rd. So. Well, I can't remember how long ago Okayama was, so it feels like last season, to be honest.
It feels a long time ago, but it was. I mean, you pulled off some great moves to get into the lead at the start and stuff, and then Stephen, it looked like you had kind of a quiet race. Pit stops paid off in the end. It looked like you caught up to Josh, who was battling someone else, and then you was like, actually, don't want any part of that. I'm going to dive in the pits and try and get an advantage. And you ended up coming out in the same fight anyway. Is that how it went?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, I didn't account for, I don't think. I mean, the fuel efficiency went out the window in the night time, it seems. So all the practice that I'd done, I think 3 litres would have been perfect, and you wouldn't have spluttered over the line. I put in the 3 litres, ended up spluttering anyway. I don't know how people were coming out ahead of me. I don't know. Josh, you said on the radio that you were battling with someone. So if I wasn't battling, I'd come out ahead. But you absolutely smashed it. I mean, I was there doing laps with Alex. I thought we'd have got the jump on him, but obviously not. But I mean, anything was an improvement on last week. Oh my goodness, I haven't been very happy this week with thinking about Lime Rock. But now I'm absolutely chuffed. I'm really chuffed for Josh more than anything. Because he's had a lot of bad luck this season. Gets a bad rap. You give him a hard time as well in the partnership move. And and so sometimes it might be warranted, but like 90% of the time it is just pure bad luck. So
it'll go back to normal at Watkins Glen anyway. So
you say that. We'll see what happens because you've got you had Andy Fox, I think, for the first half of the season, who was in an absolute sort of the dregs. He was struggling. He was making mistakes. He gets a race win at Monza, and we saw a new driver for the next few rounds. So I'm not putting pressure on, but hopefully it's made Josh.
Well, there's only 1 round left.
There's one round left for you to prove that it's not a fluke and that you're back up there. Henry Morse obviously couldn't quite put it together today. He's down in, I think, 17th place. after contact with Dan Downing, I think. But just quickly before I grab someone else, what was it like to see? So Jameson Huffman obviously had some crazy pace today, and what ended up being quite a dominant feature for him when he came out the pits. But Austin Farr went into the pits right behind him, and you were saying that it might be night time, but I don't know if it's just the way the slipstream was working, because he was outside of Jameson's slipstream, but he was by himself. But even though they came out the pits at the same time, Jameson led the race by a couple of seconds, and Austin ended up coming out behind all four of you, I think it was, and down in P6. Did you have a smile on your face when you saw him drop down the order?
I mean, I'm sure Josh did. I mean, I didn't, because it came out right in front of me. I'm sure you saw, and it ended up with 3 wide with me, Austin, and then Dan Downing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I came out on top of that one.
It was a great save at turn 3. It really was.
Oh yes, I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean, luck has paid Pulsus a visit today, and that's great. I'm really sorry for Henry. I don't know what he needs to do to catch a break. But again, he had the pace again, so that's good for us as a team. And with what Jameson has done today, the Zero Forks Given Racing, the battle for P3 is really hotted up now. So that is a serious result. I think when we add up all the points, they're going to be in P3. I really do.
It's going to be close, I think. Well, who knows what's going to happen. We've got 1 round to go. I'm going to grab someone else in, I think. I might speak to all 3 of them, actually, after a result like that. So we'll see. They're all in the waiting room. But thank you for joining us. As usual, before I let you go, is there anyone that you want to say hello, goodbye, thank you to? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, to Josh. Josh.
Oh, I nobody.
I deliberately stayed quiet.
I'll thank Stevie for his great communication in that race, because to be fair, we had to sort of work together at the end, because I knew he was quicker, and I think we just handled it very well in that race, swapping the cars. So yeah, thank you, Stevie.
And Stevie.
Bless you, Josh. Shout out to Henry Morse. Shout out to Sean Whitehouse as well, my girlfriend, for watching. Shout out to VCO and GT Amiga and everybody else who tunes in every week to watch this brilliant Jetta action.
Thank you very much, boys. We'll see you next week for the finale.
Take care, Jack.
See you later.
Joshua Germany and Stephen King there. I think we'll have one more set of interviews, and it's only right after a result like that. I mean, we spoke to Jameson already, but we'll bring them in together. It's Martin, Morgan Burkhardt, and Jameson Huffman for Zero Forks Given Racing. Many points. How are you feeling, boys, as a group?
I'm feeling really good. Yeah, I'm feeling really good, man. It's been a long time since I've been in the top 10, so it was a good drive.
It was, and it was good to see all. I think we saw a flash of this, shall we say, this pace early on. So I'm pretty sure in one of the pre-season races where no points were on offer, that all 3 Zero Forks Given cars were in the top 10, and then sort of the season started. And it didn't start that way, and now here we are again, back where we started in pre-season. Development obviously going well, but how did you feel, Martin, with today's race? I mean, like you said, P10 was a great result, but all 3 cars up there, and it, like Stevie said in the last interview, it's really hotting up for the team's championship now.
Like I said, I feel really good about it. I think the Americans at the American track might have something to do with it, which might give us something to look out for at the next track.
For sure. Well, the American stint with the American team, with all 3 American drivers. Coming over to you, Morgan, quickly. The points gap is bigger than it was obviously last round after Lime Rock being not what we wanted, or not what you wanted at the time. But you pulled off a great move on Jake at the end of the race, which we watched back in the end, just to cross the line pretty much side by side. It's an extra couple of points in your pocket. And I'm not sure who came out on top in the end, because I think he obviously won the first race. And was you second in the sprint race?
Yeah, I made it back up to second in the sprint. I think he's got like 1 or 2 more points after this round. So it's definitely going to be tight going into Watkins, and I just got to hope that he gets involved in something and I got to have an incident-free race.
That's right. It's possible,
but
it is possible. That's it. It's what you need to hang on to, that hope. we'll work out the points gap. Obviously, and the website will be updated in due course. But like you said, if he gets involved in something, it's Watkins. It's very slipstream heavy. We've seen a big crash there before. I think twice, if I recall rightly. But Martin, actually, you were involved in the first one of those. Do you remember that?
I was involved coming into the toe of the boot, I believe.
That's right, but we're not doing that layout, so you should be fine, right?
One can only hope.
If you're doing that later, you've done something horribly wrong.
What can you expect then from your team? I haven't got the numbers with me because I can't work it out and talk at the same time. But I'm pretty sure you may have passed Win It or Bin It today for P3. They were pretty close with Pulsus, who got a decent points haul, but it does mean that you'll still be close to them. So you could be potentially going for a P2 constructors finish in the finale. More of the same from you guys, top 10?
I think that's got to be the goal, is top 10 to be able to possibly pull a P2 in the constructors. I've definitely got to step up to the level of my teammates for sure, and see if we can make that happen.
That's right. Before I let you all go, is there anyone that you want to say thank you or hello to?
Definitely got to give a shout out to ZFG as a whole, and all the folks in the chat, Utah, Sway London, everybody else that showed up today.
That's right. Thank you, Martin. What about you, Morgan?
Yeah. Definitely like to thank the ZFG crew there. They're a great bunch of guys. I love hanging out with them. I'd like to thank my parents for making all of this possible. A little bit of a sketchy scenario this week with not being home, but we made the best out of it. And lastly, I'd like to dedicate this round to a very close friend that sadly passed away last week, Matt Yip. So this one goes out to him, and I'm sure he'd be happy to see this.
Oh man, nice. Sorry to hear that, but of course a nice dedication to him. You come out on top of your rival, and we'll see what you can do in the next round. Thank you, ZFG. We will speak to you soon.
All right.
There we go. Off there you go. Where are we at? Where are we at with the stream? I can see you all still watching. Of course, I thank you for that. Oh, I feel like we've been live for ages. We've got one more person waiting in that waiting room. And we haven't actually spoke to him for a while, and he's been leading. It's because he's so consistent. I think let's do it. Let's bring him in. It's Mr. Cranston. It's your championship leader. He won the sprint race today. It was a P8 in the end, right behind Morgan. How are you feeling, Jake? Going into the final round. There's one round left after this, and you've got a decent points lead. Nervous?
A little bit, because I'm gonna have to race different to what I'm used to, because I basically just need to finish in the points and I get the championship. But you know me, that I can't do that.
Well, yeah,
I have to race.
We've seen it before, where all you've had to do is finish, but you do have to end up sort of fighting your way through. But it must have been a slight sigh of relief, I guess, to see when you were involved in the incident in the feature that Morgan was just up ahead, involved in the same accident. Was that a sort of moment, or did you not notice because you're too busy trying to save your own car?
Oh, I did notice because I ploughed into the side of him as he was spinning out. I think I gathered that we both had a meatball because we were crabbing down the back straight, and we both came in, and I knew I just had to stick with him for the rest of the race. I overfueled quite a lot, so I just went for it and sat behind him, gave him a push, and tried to get him at the end, but he just got me. I don't know if you caught it on stream, but it was very close.
We missed it live, but I did notice the swap in position, so we went back and watched it after the results were up, and it was really close into the final chicane. I think you did him into turn 1 on the final lap, and then he got you back into the final chicane, final corner. But you were side by side all the way. Yeah, it was great to watch, and it looks like, I mean, it's been fairly close. It was obviously 12 points going into Lime Rock. It was, I think, in the 52 points coming into this round. I'm not sure it's changed much going into the next round. You obviously scored more in the sprint. You got pole?
Yep.
Not sure who got fastest laps yet. I haven't looked at that, but
I might have got one of them. Sorry.
you might have got one of them. So it might be even point score. It might be the same thing. Obviously, Morgan probably scoring 2 more points than you in that race.
I think Steven said it is going to roll over to the next round, but it's going to be a big ask.
Yeah, it's
there's
going
gonna
to be around 53 points or something like that. So it is still a big. Morgan's got to have an absolute blinder, and you've got to have an absolute mare. So it's looking good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's great respect between the two of you. You were both sort of exchanging nice messages before this final stint into the championship. There was, if we can call it controversy last season between you and Stephen King. That seems to have mellowed this season. You and Morgan have got messages for each other on your cars. You're the Morgan Burkhardt fan club. He's got Cranston for president all over his car. So it's good to see that whilst the racing has been close fought and quite fierce, and the championship has been quite tense, I guess, after your mid stresses, it's good to see that there's still a sense of humour and everyone can still respect each other, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what it's all about here with the Jetta Cup. It's just a bit of fun. We're all friends and we have a good time racing with each other, and that's what we try and do. I must say, this round, the respect between the other drivers I was racing with, at least, was really good, and I really enjoyed the racing tonight. It was fantastic.
Good, great circuit, great racing, and of course a great field. Thank you for talking with us, Jake. Is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you go, and we head off for next week for our finale?
Well, just hello to the Morgan Burkhardt fan club. I'm sure you love the sign I've got on my car, and I'm going to keep sporting that on into the final round of the season. So,
there you go. Well, good luck, Jake. It's good to speak to you, and we'll probably end up speaking to you next week, regardless of what happens.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. And that is that. I think we will call it there. We've had plenty of interviews tonight. There's one more round to go. We are heading off into the sunset once again, I believe, for Watkins Glen Cup on the 29th of November. Nick Danger on YouTube says, hi Jake. Zero Forks Giving Racing says, hashtag for Matt. I've missed a lot of chat actually. It looks like it was just ZFG sort of talking to themselves, or with Jerry and Sway London. Great race for Jameson, Bob and Morgan. Yeah, a load of people celebrating ZFG's successes today, so that's great to see. Of course, once again, I'm sure you get bored of hearing me say it, but I genuinely mean it. Thanks for all the support on the Racing Line channel. Thanks for all support on Twitch. There's a load of viewers over on Twitch, and thank you to VCO Esports once again, our partners for this season. Over there I can see that there's a few of you are watching still over on their YouTube channel. Thank you to EQ, the photographer. We'll do all the proper speeches and all the emotional stuff next week. Our final's not till next week. We've got another round to go, and I hope to see you all there for this championship fight. What come on, what more do you want? Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, who? It's Jake Cranston and Morgan Burkhardt. Let's do this. As always, Jack, you put on one of the best shows of sim racing. Thank you, Zero Fox Given Racing. It means a lot. That is pretty much it. And as usual, you know the saying by now. If I don't see you on track this week, I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace!